St. Francis lived in the 1100s, so it was more than 1,000 years since the birth of Christ. And nobody had thought to do this until Francis came along. And he wanted to have that birth of Christ be real, to be able to really look at it and feel it and bow to it. And so he created the first creche scene. There was a little chapel, and behind it there was a grotto, a little cave. And he realized all the many people who wanted to come to that Mass for Christmas, probably a midnight Mass, couldn't fit into the little chapel. And so he created the first creche scene. And he had a statue of the baby Jesus in a manger with straw around it. He brought in a cow. He brought in sheep and a little lamb, a donkey. And he had real people playing Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, the angels, the kings. And you can imagine, with St. Francis's devotion there, how charged the atmosphere must have been, and how miraculous that birth, the divine coming into human form in that helpless, tender, sweet child, not born into wealth in a palace, but in a humble little stable. And at one point during that evening of Mass and meditation and singing to God, Francis knelt and picked up the statue of the baby and held it in his arms. And it's part of Catholic tradition. It was seen and witnessed by all those people that that baby became real, that it wasn't just a statue anymore. It was a real baby. And so let us take whatever realization, whatever experience of God, whatever love that we feel, and treasure it, just like that little baby. That's the birth of Christ consciousness in the soul. That's the beginning of salvation, of freedom from all the pain and suffering and madness of this world. That's the beginning of it. Celebrate that, treasure that, nurture that, until finally the Star of Bethlehem leads us into the heavenly realm.